Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Pacadere and I am the Director of Early Childhood here at Foundation for Blind Children. I've been working here for the past 13 years and today I would like to take you on a tour of our school. First, I would like to share an overview of the programs we have here at Foundation for Blind Children. We have 3 campuses, one in the East Valley, one in the West Valley, and then our central campus. The central campus is the biggest and that's where we house all of our programs. So we have other departments such as our low vision clinic, our adult services, our youth programs such as SHARP, and our IT department. Also here on campus we have preschool and elementary classrooms. What does a preschool classroom look like? Our preschool classrooms have a teacher of students with visual impairments and then 2 paraeducators. We typically have no more than 7 to 8 students in a class and try to maintain a 2-to-1 staff to student ratio. The students in each classroom are grouped by their levels of ability. Our preschool schedule is 9 to 2, Monday through Wednesday, and then on Thursdays, 9 to 11:45. What happens in a typical preschool day? A typical day starts with the students being met in the parking lot by staff. Due to COVID, we take their temperatures before they come into the school. Each classroom has a scheduled circle time, snack time and lunch time, bathroom time, centers time, movement time, either on the playground or in the gym, a rest time, and a closing circle. How can I communicate with my child's team? Communication is important, and so there's many ways that parents can communicate with teachers and related service providers. These include daily communication logs. We have Teams accounts where every student has their own school account, emails, and then phone calls.
Thank you, Jamie. My name is Carrie Vogiagis, and I'm a physical therapist here at Foundation for Blind Children, and I've worked here 16 years. So I'm going to explain what related services are and how that might look for your child. What are common related services that FBC students receive? Related service providers are a physical therapist, a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, an orientation and mobility specialist, a teacher of the hearing impaired. These are all examples of related services that are commonly provided at FBC. The definition of related services is, it means transportation and such developmental, corrective, and other supportive services as required to assist a child with a disability to benefit from special education. So that's a lot of words, it's a big definition, but what that really means for us is related services are anything that are going to help support a student reach their academic success and their goals on campus. So transportation is included because we want the child to come to school, but most of the time what people think of as related service providers are the therapies, the physical therapist, occupational therapist, and speech therapist. But we also have something called orientation and mobility at FBC. That is a service that is specifically for students who have visual impairments. So orientation mobility will look specifically and help the students learn where their body is in space. So their orientation, is it in front of, on top of, behind? It'll also help them learn how to travel routes, how to move to the east, to the west, and have certain strategies to learn where to find where they are in the community or on a school campus or in any specific environment. So they focus on purposeful movement, and they may or may not use different devices or assistive mobility devices such as a white cane or something called an AMD, which is an assisted mobility device, which is basically a pre-cane. It looks like a rectangle. And so these are things that help the student because they've lost vision, not because they're lacking in balance or coordination or strength. So occupational therapy will specifically look at what are the child's sensory needs, do they have fine motor needs, and then they will help with different kind of adaptations that a student might need to hold on to things. A physical therapist will look at gross motor abilities of a student, and the things they may address are positioning. What's the best equipment, seating positioning for a child? How can we help them with their head control, their trunk control? And if the children are walking they walking on uneven surfaces? Are they able to access the playground? So those are the sort of things that they would address. The speech therapist or speech language pathologist really helps children with their expressive communication, getting out what they want to say, and also receptive. Now, many of our students may use their words and many may not, so there's many ways that they can learn to communicate. They can make choices with their eyes, they can use tactile cards, they can use switches, and our speech language pathologists help the student figure out what's the best way for them to communicate their needs. The related services that your child will receive will be on the child's IEP. There's a service page that will specifically state, and that was determined at the evaluation that students have before they enter preschool. And then we also have something called music therapy and animal-assisted therapy, and this is something that's offered to all the students. It's not something that specifically has to be on a student's IEP. Currently, the music therapist provides it virtually. In other years, they come into the classroom and they work directly with each class. We also have something called animal-assisted therapy, which looks a little different this year, but we have a dog named Mimi and her owner, and they will read stories to the kids virtually. Another thing I wanted to mention are how therapies are delivered in the school setting. The educational model looks a little different than how students may have been receiving therapies in the home environment or in the community. Our service time, or the child's service time, is determined by the IEP team as well as the goals. And really what we're focusing on are what are the skills that they need or a student needs to be successful as a student. So all the goals may look a little similar. The intention is always at the school, what do they need and what are goals are going to help them be functional here. Another couple things worth noting is the FBC school program has nurses on staff. They help with any of the medications or seizure action plans or anything like that, and if should there ever be a medical emergency. Well, that concludes our virtual tour. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about FBC's preschool program.